for a few days.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun. Hi, Misty.
Hello.
I just popped in to say hello.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
Thank you. I have a student at 8 o'clock, so I thought I'll just pop in and say hi real quick before you start.
Oh, good. Well,
All
thank you.
right.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. All right,
All right.
everybody. Have a great lesson.
All
See
right.
you
You
all
too.
soon. Bye.
Bye.
Well, so nice to see everybody. Tonight, I want to start out by telling you about the initiation because this is the halfway mark. This is lesson 4 and there's 8. And so you're halfway through. So now's the time to start thinking about whether or not you want to continue. So the initiation is something that has to be done in person. It's we've tried it different ways. Even Eli tried it. He tried making cassette recordings and tried it over the telephone. It doesn't work. You have to be there in person. I don't know what there is about it, but there's something about it that you have to be there in person for this. So you can either come to Missouri. My partner, my friend down the street here is a block and a half away. He's got a 2-story house with guest bedrooms upstairs and have a separate entrance. And so you can stay there overnight while you're getting your initiation. Or sometimes I can travel to you or meet you somewhere halfway. So if you want to stay here, now I have to tell you that he doesn't have a TV upstairs. He's it's just a place to stay, but it would save you $100 or something from if you wanted to travel. So the initiation is an hour-long ceremony. The first half an hour is guided meditation that teaches you how to go really deep in just 6 deep breaths. So it's worth learning just for that. And then the second half of the ceremony, a half an hour, is the actual ceremony itself, where you're taught the 3 sacred arrows that always hit their mark. We just have to learn how to aim. And so that's what the lessons are for, is to teach you how to make it work. But after you're given the secrets, you're turned loose to go practice it yourself, and some people are just really natural at it. It's not that hard. It's something you just have to practice at till you kind of get the hang of it. And then after you have the initiation, you qualify for the Kaylee mental magic lessons, which takes about 9 months to get through. And those are they expand on the things that you're given at your initiation. The 3 sacred arrows are never spoken of again during the lessons, only in code. So if you haven't had the initiation, you would never know how how to work the Kaylee lessons. In fact, there was a group in California that we went out to teach, and they were led by somebody who'd never had the initiation, and here they'd been through the Kaylee lesson several times and still didn't understand how it works. So you got to have the initiation first, and then you'll know how to make it work. Well, let's see. So if you want to do that, what you need to do is you have to bring a printed copy of all 8 lessons. So whoever does your initiation will know that you've had these lessons, because you have to have these lessons before you can have the Kaylee mental magic lessons, because it makes a difference how you look at the world. And how, if you can look at the world the way we're describing it here in this philosophy, then you can make magic work for you. In fact, after this year of learning how to make it work for you, then you qualify to join with other people who have been successful and do group magic, which is really where the powerful stuff happens. I've seen coma patients wake up. I've seen tumors disappear, mystery diseases disappear. It's really something. I had my friend on the block here was had a terrible cough. I think he got from I went to Chicago to visit some kids of his. And came back with this horrible cough that he had for 10 months, 11 months almost. And I thought he was going to die over the winter last year because he was just getting so weak. He couldn't sleep at night. His cough was keeping him up all the time, and he was getting really pale looking. And so we got together with a couple other friends, and 3 days later, coughing was gone. So this is pretty powerful stuff. Anyway, so if you want to do that, what you need to do is think about printing out the lessons, put them in a book so that you can show whoever is going to do the initiation. And then you need to think about a medicine name, something that you can use when you're doing your magic to speak to the other side. Because Christian names, what you're given at birth, you're also given an outlook for who you are, what your expectations are. And so you need a new name because we've risen the bar, the bar, what you're capable of is now a lot more than what you were first told. And so you need to be a new person that can work this magic. And so that's why you need a new name. And then you need to find a gift to exchange for the three sacred arrows that you're given. And this doesn't have to be expensive. It can be something you find, like a feather or a rock. Yes? Can you not hear me? Can you hear me, Daniel? What's going on?
I can hear you, Misty.
Can you hear me, Windwalker?
I can hear you.
Okay, I guess we just lost Daniel. Okay, well, so where was I? Oh, so something you find like a feather or a rock or a crystal or, something interesting, or something you make, there's lots of crafty people and actually, if you want to make homemade bread with organic flour, that'd be great, or something like that. Or we always appreciate a donation to help out with expenses. Eli used to say, those who love can do little more than to help those coming behind as they've been helped by the ones who've gone before. So that's what we try to do, is just help each other. Okay, so this is something that you need to think about and consider as we go through these lessons. Okay, so now we're on lesson 4. This is the one about all of our critter friends, everybody who's on the trunk of the tree. It says, in Cherokee mythology, as in that of Indian tribes generally, there is no essential difference between men and animals. We find that all creatures alike living and working together in harmony and mutual helpfulness, until man, by his aggressiveness and disregard for the rights of others, provokes their hostility. Hence their lives are apart, but the difference is always one of degree only. Well, and they say the reason is because the animals, like the people, are organized into tribes and have, like them, their chiefs and townhouses, their councils and ball plays, and the same hereafter in the darkening land of Usiuni. That's from the myths of the Cherokee. So what do you think? Are creatures kind of like us? Do they think like us, kind of? I mean, they're definitely lower level on the tree, but what do you think? Do they think like us? Have you seen those nature shows, where they show the otters playing with the rocks or holding the hands of the otters that they want to float around with? They're so cute. And the wolves, have a pecking order. They take care of their own. And the buzzards, a group of buzzards, it's called a committee. And boy, don't they look like a committee. They get out there they find some dead thing, and I'm the one, they put the wings up, like, you can't see this is here, this is mine. Then they go, well, I helped to hunt that down. You know, I need to have part of that. It's so silly. They start negotiating over who's going to eat. So anyway, animals are funny. They say dogs are like infants because they teach you to how to deal with infants, and cats are more like teenagers. They help you deal with teenagers. Dogs are kind of neat though. You know, they're all about the now, which is kind of what infants are about. Everything is new. You know, dogs are like, oh, ball, is all there is in the world is this ball. Oh, it's wonderful. This is a great thing. I got to do this now. And then you want to go for a ride. Oh, for a ride. Yes, let's go for a ride. You know, dogs are like in the now, right now, all the time. So anyway, animals are fun. The tree of life can be seen as the family tree of Great Spirit. The Native Americans saw the animals and plants as their true brothers and sisters, each of whom had a special wisdom that made them different from all other life forms. Chief Luther Standing Bear says kinship with all creatures of the earth, sky, and water was a real and active principle. For the bird and animal world, there existed a brotherly feeling that kept the Lakota safe among them. Have you ever had that experience where you were out in the wild and some wild animal had some sort of a personal experience with you? Have you had that happen? I know, Windwalker, you have bunnies in your yard, don't you?
I had I was years ago. We were walking along the beach, and there was a pod of dolphins that were following us in the out in the distance. And then we turned around and walked back the other way, and they turned around and swam back with us. So they kind of
I've
and there was
heard
other
of
people on the
that.
beach, but they just stayed with us. So
I've
yeah,
heard of that before. Yeah, I've heard of
yeah.
that. Well, I had this experience with a little baby bird. I was this was during the summer. I was sitting outside and I saw this clump of leaves I thought fall out of the tree, and then it started chirping. And I I looked over at it, and here was this little tiny baby bird with mostly fluff with just a few feathers. And I thought, oh no, what am I going to do with you? And because I thought that, you know, if you touch a baby bird, that the mama bird won't want it anymore. And so I didn't know what to do with it. And when I knew that there was cats around, you know, you can't leave this little baby bird on the ground. So so I started talking to it. What am I going to do with you? And here's the mama birds up in the tree. Oh boy, baby birds down on the ground. So I couldn't figure out what to do. And I was talking to the bird, you know, we got to do something with you. And the little birdie hopped right over to me and landed on the toe of my shoe. It's like chirping at me, talking to me. This bird that didn't even have all its feathers was talking to me. Anyway, my friend stopped by and he looked at this bird and he says, "Oh, I know what to do." And he just reached right down and picked it up and put it back in the tree. And the mama bird was so happy she went right over to it. See, and I was afraid to do that because I thought it would mama would reject it. But no, that's not what happened. So yay. Also, eagles. Have you ever seen? Do you live someplace where you can see eagles every once in a while? Every time I see an eagle, they seem to like Missouri for some reason. Every time I see one, I stop and think, what was I thinking about when I saw that? And because I kind of feel like every time I see an eagle, it's like the Great Spirit is blessing whatever it was I was thinking about. So, but all kinds of birds have meaning, you know. Hawks, for instance, are also messengers. And crows, you know, they'll tell you about what's going on in the neighborhood. They're just big gossips. Anyway, so there's a brotherly feeling between the animals and yourself. If you're not afraid, you know, they pick up on that fear too. But if you're not afraid, then they'll be friendly too. So Hemiosis Storm down here says, the gift of mind has saved us from destruction. And you know, when I was reading that today in the light of all the events that have been happening this last week, I was like, oh, really? The gift of mind has saved us from destruction. Well, it reminded me of something that Winston Churchill had said way back. He said, America always does the right thing after it's exhausted all other possibilities. So hopefully we'll do something right here pretty soon. Anyway, he goes on to say, it is this gift which makes us different from all the other animals of the world, the gift of mind. Now, what does that mean? The gift of mind makes us different from all the other animals of the world. What is it about our mind that makes us different?
Guess it's we have choice, whereas other animals they follow the hierarchy all the time. Like, if whatever wolf is, in charge, and if that one gets old and weak, well then the next one moves up and it always sort of stays the same. Whereas we have a choice to step outside of what our like confines or whatever you call it are.
Yes, yes, we have free will. So we've been given a choice. That's where all these negative thoughts come from, is because we've been given a choice. We can listen to our better angels or we can listen to the other side. So it's up to us. So it's this gift which makes us different from all the other animals, because all the other animals have instinct. They have what every other dog has done through millennia. That's part of who they are. They're just trying to be the best dog that they can be. But people don't have that kind of a blueprint. We don't have that. Because we have choice. We have free will. And so you're absolutely right. That's what makes us different. That pesky thing called free will. So climbing the tree, how does this help us climb the tree? Well, eternal progress is the law of the universe. Everything is always progressing. The circle of the medicine wheel is always turning. So everything is progressing all the time. The little ants are progressing, dogs and cats are progressing. We're progressing, even though it doesn't seem like it. We still are. Everything in nature is progressing. All life is a matter of progression. So what is it that progresses? It certainly can't be the body, because the body gets old and dies. So it's not that. What is it that progresses? What do you think, Natalie? Got an idea?
Yeah, so I guess our soul. I was going to say kind of our body too, because as we get older, we need to also adapt our mind and our spirit and soul. Yeah, so it's actually, it helps, I guess, I don't know, maybe helps us progress, but yeah, it's with our soul, our spirit. That,
Yes,
yeah,
there
just
are
keep.
there are different stages of life that we need to adjust to, that's for sure. But I remember talking to Alliday, Eli's wife, when she was in her 90s, and she said to me that she didn't really feel any different than she did when she was younger. My doorbell just rang. Can you hold on for just a second? Oh, I said. Okay, well, thank you. I have a neighbor that likes to tell me when my kitty's out there crying to come in. So that's what he was doing, telling me my kitty was talking to me. Okay, so where are we? Everything is a matter of progression. So yeah, it's the mind or the character that progresses. It's we don't really feel that we're getting older. We still kind of feel. In fact, if when people who have died that show themselves to other people, they come back as you see them as a younger version of themselves, because people don't think of themselves as getting older. You still feel kind of like you're in your 30s, maybe, or something like that. You don't really feel like you're getting older. So I don't think it's the mind matures. We receive understanding, we can see deeper, we can notice more things, and I think that's how we progress, is that you can tell by the things that you notice. The Good Medicine Society teaches that all life is from the Creator, the Great Spirit. Everything that lives was created by him through creative thought, which is really magic. All life thus begins as a creative thought of the Great Spirit, our Father. Eli taught that when the children of the Great Spirit become spiritual adults, they will be required to create their own worlds as schools for their own children. Because, the outer planets all have the electrical and the chemical and the mineral, and they're all babysitting, the tiny little spirits. And so to do this, they must know the intimate details which make up the medicines of the electronic, chemical, mineral, vegetable, animal, human, and celestial levels of life. Well, how can you know all that? How can you learn all that? The only way is by being there, by having done it. And so that's what we have to do is go through we have to learn all the medicine of all the different stages before we can go on. It's only through experience that one can truly gain understanding. So to know all the medicine of the tree of life, one's spirit or mind has had to start at the very tips of the roots, become a part of and move up through each of life's levels in turn. Each is a little more advanced than the one before. So here he's also making the spirit or mind connection, which is kind of an interesting idea. I'm not quite sure how to wrap my mind around that. But he equates the spirit and the mind. So the mind advances. We notice more, we see deeper into things, and that's how we can tell that we're advancing. As we look into the eyes of our younger brothers and sisters, the animals, we can see that the spirit within them is still asleep. But through our love for an individual animal, that animal spirit can be awakened, and the bear or fox or other animal may become a close friend. Have you noticed that with pets you've had, that they become more childlike, more they become more I don't know, less like a dog and more like a person, less like a cat and more like a person. They kind of do that. They have dogs, now, or they train them to step on these pads that have buttons, and they can tell you the words, make sentences. And have you seen those YouTube things? But oh my gosh! And then now they're trying to teach babies sign language, so they can tell you, "I'm hungry." I guess I don't know. Or I'm hurt, or I don't feel good, or something like that. I don't know what they tell babies to tell them. But that's kind of an interesting thing, is that we're starting to communicate more with animals. When Eli taught that when these awakened animals die, their spirits will be reborn as non-aware humans. Have you ever met one of these? These new newly born people that were animals last time. They're still trying to figure it out. They're like that saying they just fell off the turnip truck yesterday. It's kind of like that. They're just kind of like kids, little kids their whole life. Well, as shown on the symbolic tree in chapter 3, when a spirit reaches the level of the non-aware human, it's said to be born. So they're asleep in the animal world, and then they become a non-aware human, and the spirit is born. The mental and spiritual status of a non-aware person corresponds to the human infancy. So Eli also taught that it is the love of the Great Spirit for his children that awakens humans to their fuller capabilities. And through this love, the spirit of a human can grow, crossing the line into life in the spirit or celestial world. Have you ever felt that love? Have you ever been meditating or praying or having something happen and feel that great love from the Creator? Have you had that? I have to tell you this one experience I had. I'd been married for 30 years and we were going to get a divorce because he decided, we just had different goals. He decided he wanted to make money and I decided I wanted to come back to Arkansas and do this. So we kind of split ways, and he stayed in California and I came back here. Well, in the middle of our divorce, I was getting this, I had this little studio apartment. And one day I was really boo-hooing. I was all sad. And because I was like 2,000 miles away from family and friends and didn't really have a support group. And so I was kind of all by myself out there. And I was feeling pretty sorry for myself and was boo-hooing at having a pity party one evening. And I was just like, oh, nobody loves me. I don't know what I'm going to do. And finally, I turned to the Creator and I said, do you love me? And oh my gosh, I wish I had done that sooner because wow, I've never felt love that had substance. I mean, it had weight. I felt like if I'd been standing up, I would have been crushed onto the floor. It was heavy. It was just like, and it was just the most beautiful love I've ever felt in my life. It made me just cry to be embraced with that love. And only thing I could think of was, how could I have forgotten that? Anyway, it really touched me, and it was a unique experience that I will never forget. But I want that for each of you. I want you to know for yourself, because once you've had an experience with the divine, then you know, and nobody can tell you otherwise. It's definitely worth shooting for. Well, the spirit or the mind is taught through the law of consequence or cause and effect to a certain level of advancement. Well, so what is the law of cause and effect? That's like karma, right? So whatever you have to learn from the consequences of your actions. That's the law of consequence, right? So how do we know? How do we know that whether we did something right or did something wrong? Well, Abraham Lincoln had a pretty good idea. He said, when I do good, I feel good. And when I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. So I think that we have inbuilt within us an emotional guidance system that tells us when we're doing something wrong and when we're doing something right by the way we feel. So it then becomes aware. When you realize that there are consequences for your actions, and you can learn from those. You know, how can I do better? How could I have done that differently? When it becomes aware of that, it thus perceives itself as a true son or daughter of the Great Spirit, realizing its place upon the great tree. You know, the Star Trek has this prime directive, which I have always thought was perfect for what the creator does, because Star Trek says they're orbiting a planet and they say, oh boy, they're having a lot of trouble down there, we need to help them. And Captain Kirk would always say, no, we can't do that, because they have to ask. They have their free will. We can't intrude. They have to ask us. Well, how can they ask us if they don't know we're up here? Well, that's the thing. They have to be able to know that they're up there. So, and that's the way we are. Is the unaware people don't know that there's more to this. And the aware people know that they are children of the Great Spirit. And that's how we perceive ourselves to be sons and daughters, realizing it's our place upon the great tree. With this new realization, the Spirit then assumes responsibility for its own education and growth on the path to the spirit world. So assumes responsibility for its own education. What's that mean? That means you have to learn from your own consequences. You have to take responsibility for what happens as a result of your actions, so you know whether to repeat that or not. So when learning and practicing all the gifts of love and wisdom, the Spirit reaches perfection as a human. It enters the world of the spirits and is freed from the wheel of human existence. Yay, we don't have to go back. But do we? I mean, it's really, because you know what's going to happen when we get up there. He's going to say, well, you're going to leave all your brothers and sisters down there without any help. You're going to go back and help them. So, you might want a vacation for a while, but eventually there's so many more on the other side than there is here, that you have to kind of wait in line to come back. And so that, it's they say that those of us that are here are privileged to be going through all this. Sometimes it seems that way, sometimes it doesn't. So once we practice all the gifts of love and wisdom, we're freed from the wheel of human existence and enter the spirit world, where we can stay for a while, but we'll probably want to come back. In the celestial world, the Spirit is perfected even further towards a perfection which is known by the Great Spirit himself, until it is ready to enter the world of the grandfathers, which lies in another plane of existence. So when the Spirit wants to enter the world of the grandfathers, then he becomes a father himself and has children of his own. This has been called the great plan, the way to perfection, the way of the good medicine, or simply the way. And it's this blueprint that has filled the heavens with planets and stars and all kinds of beings. So for those who follow a nature religion, what is the relationship that is felt between themselves and other living things of nature? Are we related? Amy, are you there? Can you answer some of these? Sometimes she's driving. Well, Natalie, what do you think? What is the
well, that's,
relationship?
we're all part of the circle and the tree. So yeah, we are all related.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're brothers and sisters. If these other living beings are truly our brothers and sisters, what is the difference between our lives and theirs? Well, we have to make things a lot more complicated. But really, there's not much difference, do you think? They have babies, they take care of their babies. They try to provide for a family. It's kind of the same thing, it's just a lower level of it. So what is the creator's? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I guess we're all on different levels, and we're all really helping each other all the way through, no matter, whether
Yes.
you're higher spiritual level or lower. We're all helping each other.
Wouldn't that be great if we all just did that instead of
Yes.
I want more than you, and you have to keep up with the Joneses, and oh my gosh, why don't we just help each other? We could get along so much better if we just did that. So, what is the Creator's gift to humans which makes us different from all the other animals in the world? What's the Creator's gift? Windwalker, you're just not. Are you able to answer?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
there you
mind.
are. The mind, yes, that's what makes us different because we have choice. We have free will. We have this horrible thing called free will that allows us to not to go against everything that we think is right and do something crazy. It's kind of strange actually. But we've been given our free will to make as many mistakes as we want. Do we need those who are spiritually younger on the tree of life? Spiritually younger. Well, like the animals and the insects and the can we get along without them? What'd you say?
I know I do. I need to be reminded all the time of, what I've been through before, because you mentioned forgetting, and it's really easy to do that.
Well, do we need those who are spiritually younger on the tree?
Yeah,
Do we need
yeah.
mosquitoes? Can we get along without fleas? They could
That's a
be
good
irritating
point.
to us, but something else needs them in order to survive. And so we wouldn't have a complete circle if part of it was missing.
Yeah,
So there we
yeah.
are.
But
We're taught that all life is a matter of progression. And what is it that progresses?
It'll be our mind again, our
Here we
spirit
are.
bear level.
Mm-hmm. Yep, our ability to think, our intelligence, I guess, is also related to that. So yeah, so how is this progress recognized? How can you recognize in yourself that you're progressing?
I guess when you do something right, it feels better, or yeah, or you sort of yeah. If you're doing more spiritual work, well, then you're starting to feel different, I guess. Yeah,
Yes, the
and if you
things that
do it
used to
wrong, then
bother
you get it
you.
wrong.
Well, yeah. So yes, and so your spiritual, your emotional guidance system should tell you whether you got it right or you got it wrong.
yeah,
How is
I
this
can look
progress work?
back.
Mm-hmm.
I can look back through my life and see how I've progressed. If I take a moment to do that, and sometimes I do that
Yes.
just to see where I'm at.
Yes, the things that used to bother you don't bother you anymore. And the problems you used to have are don't seem like they're horrible problems anymore. So yeah, you mature, I guess, you progress as you mature. When the children of the Great Spirit become spiritual adults, what is taught that they will be required to create? When they become eligible to be a mom or a dad, then then they have to create nurseries for their children, just like our spiritual father has created all these planets for the lesser to be born on. And so what must be known to do this? How can he know how to do all that? Well, apparently it's something that we learn as we become all these different things. We progress through these different levels, the electrical, the chemical, and and as we do that, we learn what those are, what makes that up.
Yeah, goes into our eternal memory. We don't forget. We may not always remember, but we don't forget.
Right. Well, you can't remember everything.
No.
All you can do is remember this life if you're lucky. So we see the spirits of our younger brothers and sisters. The animals are still sleeping. They are not yet born. How can their spirits be awakened? To wake them up.
That's through our love, giving our love to them, kind of,
Yes.
waking them up.
Yes, yes, yes. So you see a herd of cows, and they're all kind of doing the same thing. They're not really paying much attention to people, they're just doing their thing. But you go out there and you love on one for a while and you pet it and you lead it around and you feed it by itself and you mess with it. Then pretty soon that cow starts to know you, and then it acts different than the rest of them. It starts wanting to be around you, wanting to be there. Pretty soon this cow is laying in your lap and you're trying to feed it. So yeah, they become different. They just become different. How can their spirits be awakened? Just by messing with them, by loving them. So do you have any experience that you can relate, like that happened with you? Can you think about animals that became more people-like?
Well, I've always gotten along well with animals. So, I always have. A lot of, I can go out, like I can hike at night, and I can look around and the deer around me and stuff. It's like they're right there with me, helping to protect me, or let me know if there's some kind of predator around or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that,
sure enough.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always good to take note of whenever you see animals, because they all have a message. It's every time I see something unusual, I will look up the spiritual significance of that, because there's always a message. For one time I saw this coyote. I didn't know it was a coyote at the time. I thought it was I was going up this hill, and I have this car that's a hybrid, and so when it's in electric mode, it sounds like a golf course a cart. It's very quiet. And so I don't think that this animal knew what I was. It could see that it was a car, but it didn't sound like a car. So this animal was like not too afraid. And I was going real slow because it's on a back road, and I was just kind of messing around. And I saw these two ears sticking up on the top of the hill. And I thought, oh, there's a deer up there. And as I got a little closer, I could see, I could see the eyes, and I thought, no, that's not a deer. That looks more like a fox. And then as I got a little higher, I could see, no, it was a young coyote, not a baby, but a young coyote, small coyote. And I had this question in my mind about how terrible things were and how much longer we're going to have to do this. And but I was fascinated with this little coyote. And as I climbed up the hill really, really slow, they kind of it moved about 10 feet, and then it turned around and looked at me like, come on. So I went a little farther, and then this coyote just took off running a little bit, not very far, just went up maybe 20 feet and stopped and sat there and turned around and looked at me like, come on. And finally we got towards the top of the hill, and he just ran over the top of the hill and he disappeared. I don't know where he went. But the message I got out of that was you're almost at the top. Come on, don't stop now. Keep going. So I always, when I see animals, they mean something to me. There's a message there. So anyway, according to this philosophy, what happens to the awakened animal spirit in its next life?
Becomes a human.
It becomes a human.
Becomes
Yes.
a little human.
Yes, and because it loves you, it's probably going to be in your family. So there you are. Anyway. So what is it we can give to our animal brothers and sisters to help them grow spiritually? It's our love, right? And what is it that awakens us to our fuller capabilities?
Those
Isn't it
other
all?
people's loves and the wanting to grow.
Mhm. Yes, I think it's wanting love, just wanting more love. It's, I think when you finally fall in love with somebody, you realize, wow, there's more to things. And when you're in love, you see colors better, you see more deeply into things. It's like love kind of wakes you up. And so I think that when you feel the creator's love, or when you feel another person's love, it makes you want more of that. That feels good. Want more of that. So I think that's what it is. It wakes us up to our fuller capabilities. The law of consequence teaches us until we become aware and realize our place upon the tree. So how do we learn then? And the law of consequence teaches us until we become aware. So after we become aware, do we still have the law of consequence teaching us? Yeah, I think it's a universal law. I think it's one of those things that doesn't change, even in the spirit world. I think probably still, because you can use it to your advantage. When you whatever you put out is what you get back. So if you want to have lots of good stuff coming back, then you need to do lots of good stuff for other people. They say once you start doing so many good things for other people, that pretty soon that the law of karma has a trouble keeping up. and pretty soon people are saying, boy, you're so lucky, things always work out for you. And that's because you start doing things for other people. This idea that no good deed goes unpunished, that's a terrible idea, because that just keeps you from doing things for other people. But the more you do for other people, the more you try to help other people, not to do for them, but to try to help them. The more that you find that helps come back to you. So I think the law of consequence, law of cause and effects, will still apply to us, even after we become aware, even in the spirit world. So how can we use our knowledge of the cause and effect to accelerate our progress?
I guess when if you get on the right path and you're doing something good, then you sort of keep doing similar things, or yeah.
Yes. The more you try to help other people, the more love that you have in your heart. And that's really all you can take with you when you leave here, is the love you've collected in your heart. So what is this progression up the tree of life called? Got a bunch of names. Called the Great Plan, the way to perfection, the way of good medicine, or just simply the way. That's what Jesus called it, was the way. So it says, in preparation for next week, next week. What's next week? Consider how our deliberate climb up the tree of life helps it to grow. So consider that for next week. And next week is lesson 5. So the last 4 lessons are kind of tie things together. Now the first 4 lessons are kind of like the ground floor, where this is how it works. This is how the world is put together. And then the last 4 lessons are kind of tie things together a little bit. So lesson 5 is about the zodiac and how our elder brothers, the planets, affect our lives. So there you are. So in this last lesson that we talked about, all our relations. Have you ever thought about animals like that? That their consciousness is kind of asleep, and they're just kind of sleepwalking through life. They're not really aware of things. You ever thought about that,
Yeah,
about animals?
it's a different level of awareness.
Yes, it's a different level. Yep. So have you ever thought about how we're all helping the tree to climbing the tree? We climb the tree by progressing, by learning from our own mistakes, by learning from the law of consequence.
Yeah, and then setting an example.
Yes, that would be the best way to do it. Set an example for other people to follow.
Just finding other like-minded people as well to help you, grow spiritually as well.
Yes, and stop hanging out with people who are newly aware or new new humans. Yeah, I tell you what, this stuff that's going on there. Natalie, did you say that you were in Australia?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that's going on over here is just, makes you wonder how
Oh,
many people are like just fell off the turnip truck, you know?
yeah. It's a bit
Crazy.
sad. The young ones, it's like they're just brainwashed with, telephones and social media, and yeah, it's if the power went
Well,
out like today, like no one would survive, only us older people, because we know how to build fires from scratch or whatever, but the young ones have no idea.
yeah, they don't even know how to do math, add and subtract.
No.
It's like stores would have to not function if we didn't have computers, and nobody would know how to do anything. Yeah, that is kind of sad. Well, so the next one is about the solar system and the wheel of life and the planets that are in our solar system and how they affect us. So give that a look over this next week, and we'll talk about it next time.
Alrighty.
Look
Okay.
forward to it.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you next week. Bye.